It's becoming pretty clear in my videos that I have a passion for practical and useful tech-related items. Ones that typically serve more than one purpose. When I first started practicing minimalism, I gave myself sort of a guideline to follow whenever making any type of purchase. In other words, whatever I bought needed to save me time, money, drive a passion, and things of that sort. Today I gathered some of my favorite tech-related items that I consider essential and the reasons why I consider them essential. As always, I only ever speak about what I have and my reasons why. So please take into consideration why some of these things may or may not make sense to you when considering bringing them into your own life. These are some of my tech essentials. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and please donkey punch the subscribe button. Let's get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about is my AirTag and just my overall entire keychain setup. Whenever I talked about my keys in any of my EDC videos, it usually gets brushed over because it's been ignored for so long. I tend to lose my keys at least once a week or so, and my AirTag helps me in that area. And I'm sure most of us are already familiar what an AirTag is and its functionality, so I won't go over that too much. If I did really end up losing my keys, I could use my phone or one of my other devices to locate them, as well as notify me if I left them behind somewhere. I currently have it hanging on this slick case that hooks onto my keyring. Now I haven't fully decided if I'm going to do this, but I have flirted with the idea of just keeping this in my car if I'm in an unfamiliar area and I need to remember where I parked. In general, the AirTag does just offer many different uses that could make life a lot easier when applied correctly. Moving over to the rest of my setup, my AirTag hangs on this keychain clip that was made by OrbitKey. Now on this keychain, aside from the AirTag of course, is my key organizer that I've talked a little bit about before. The key organizer keeps my keys in place and keeps them from jingling. And I also have this tiny multi-tool in here that I quite literally use almost every single day for something. Now the carabiner itself usually stays hooked right onto my sling bag, and I'll pull my keys off as I need with this little quick release pull tab here, which thankfully is very secure, or else that AirTag might have to come in handy more often than not. Two-factor authentication key. Lately, I've been taking the security of my accounts a lot more seriously. I obviously have complex passwords and phone number verification that's required to log into any of my accounts. But in addition to those, I now have this security key. And I've actually only recently became aware of what these are, and I think they're quite genius. Oversimplified, if someone were trying to log into one of my accounts who has my passwords and is able to get my phone number verification, they would also need this physical two-factor authentication key. It's a physical item that gets plugged into the device I'm trying to log into, if it's an unfamiliar device that I've never been logged into before. This particular security key, I became Australian for a second. This particular security key is made by Yubico, and this video isn't sponsored by them, but after doing some research, it's pretty clear that they're like the dominant brand in this field. This physical key is required to log into my Gmail, Coinbase, as well as a few other accounts. It might not be super wise to share where I keep this, so I won't. The argument can be made that if I were to lose this, I could get locked out of my accounts, which is why it's recommended to have two. My Ember Mug. I know I've talked about this a long time ago in one of my desk videos, but making a return is my Ember coffee mug. In a nutshell, it's a self-heating mug that can be controlled via an app that allows me to adjust the temperature through the app. I keep the coaster for this typically somewhere on my desk, and it allows me to drink coffee or tea at a slow pace and keeps me from having to chug my beverage before it becomes lukewarm and absolutely disgusting. It's a little pricey, but theoretically it could replace every and any mug that I keep in my house. It's pretty much a must-have whenever I'm sitting working at my desk or just relaxing anywhere at all. This spray bottle? Now, I'm not really sure if this is considered a tech essential, but I wanted to give it an honorable mention. This little bottle is used to mist my plants. I love the way it looks, and while there's no sophisticated technological use for it, it might also feel really nice on a hot Florida day. I actually plan on making a dedicated plant video sometime in the future, so let me know if you'd be any type of interested in that. USB with passwords. Now, everyone is well aware of how important it is to know our passwords and logins for our accounts, because sometimes it's way more difficult than it's worth to get back in. Most devices nowadays automate logins through Touch ID, Face ID, or trusted devices. Now, if I were to damage or lose some of these devices, I might be in big trouble. I do use different passwords for different accounts, and oftentimes I get them quite mixed up. Recently, I've decided to separate a dedicated flash drive that has my passwords, recovery keys, and things of that nature. My logic behind this is that I have a cold copy of all of my passwords somewhere that aren't on the internet or dependent on cloud storage. I keep them in a hidden folder somewhere on this flash drive, and the location of this flash drive I won't make public, and I hope you understand. You know, rather than sharing every detailed specification of a tech-related item, it's more important to me to share the real-life uses of it, just how any of us would use any of these items, and the practicalities of it. So I hope my insights on using some of these items brought you some type of value, or at the very least, some entertainment. As always, thank you for watching, and I appreciate the time you spent here. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.